Vanna too, who was able to borrow the gloves. Thank you so much to the Barbara for the gloves. Yeah, thank you, Barbara. Okay, so this is Natasha, and she's going to be my sort of prop person here as we talk a little bit. I'm going to give a little brief talk, and then we'll talk about the logistics of the workshops and so forth, and sort of an overview of the day for you. But I'm going to start out with a story, if that's okay. So, in thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, something occurred to me as the theme was It's My Journey. I was visiting an assisted living facility a couple of weeks ago. My mother is 95. Up higher, like that? Is that better? Okay, thanks. My sister was in town visiting from Alabama, and I had recently moved to Bainbridge Island from Bellevue. So, anyway, I was with my sister. We were looking for assisted living facilities. We visited several of them, and one in particular really stuck out as being excellent. And one of the reasons was because the marketing director there had so much knowledge about older people and a lot of caring, and this impressed us a lot. So one of the things she said seemed to fit with this. You may think there's a disconnect here, but I'm going to tie it together, okay? So what she said was, you know, older people who have some memory loss, it's like they've packed a suitcase. And in the bottom of the suitcase is their earliest memories. The memories that they had from childhood. You know, memories of their brothers and sisters, of their parents, of their grandparents, their aunts and uncles, and their early childhood home. Those are in the first layer in the suitcase. And then, of course, as they get older, other layers get put in that suitcase, other layers of memories, until true adulthood and up to current time. This is sort of making funny noises, right? Am I too close, too far? Let's keep going here. So anyway, I thought, wow, what an interesting concept. And the fact was that by the time you get to be 95, not everybody, of course, but some people have lost some of those memories. They've forgotten what's in the top layer of the suitcase, but they can remember what's in that bottom layer of those early memories. And I thought, you know, we all have memories packed away in suitcases, right? Whether they're metaphorically suitcases or real suitcases. And I thought, since the theme for today is It's My Journey, this might be an apt metaphor for us to use. So I'm going to tell you a little story about some of the journeys I've been on and the suitcases I brought along, and how it might relate to your life journey, because that's what we're going to be talking about today and through the weekend. Your journey. It's your journey. So the first suitcase I took, and probably my first real journey, was to Girl Scout camp when I was about 11 years old. And I lived in western New York State, and I went to a camp on Chautauqua Lake, which is a beautiful, very cold lake in western New York. It was called Camp Hiawatha. And the minute I got there, I loved it. I just wanted to be there all summer long. Of course, I went for 2 weeks initially, but then later on I got to stay for almost the whole summer. So, you know, my memories were packed in that suitcase of those early days in Girl Scouts. And some of the things that I have in the suitcase are the green shorts and the white shirt that were worn only on Sundays, as I recall. And then we had Scouts home in the evenings, on Sunday evening. Of course, I had the little tie along with it. And also had like a flannel shirt, some shorts, and some pair of jeans, you know, things like that. And so, but not only were the clothes in my suitcase for my memories, I had the skills that I learned in Girl Scout camp, which were amazing. So I got to learn how to paddle a canoe and row a boat, and I learned how to swim there at Girl Scout camp in that very cold lake. And I learned about some arts and crafts, which I don't remember as well as I remember some of the other things. And archery. I learned how to shoot a bow and arrow, or shoot the arrow with the bow. Didn't kill anybody. course, the other skills were how to get along with people, how to get along with tent mates, people you didn't know. And this was out of my district, this particular camp, so I didn't know anybody when I went to camp. I was, everybody was new to me. And of course, I made friends because that's one of my strengths, I think. I like to meet people, so I'm a friendly person. And so the other things that I brought along, some I brought along and some I developed, were those character strengths, or character traits, or virtues. And we're going to be talking about virtues today, but that's interchangeable with character traits. And so in this first suitcase, I think I brought along my friendliness, because I really tried to be a friend to every other Girl Scout. I brought my enthusiasm, which I was pretty strong in already. And that was a character trait that's sort of kept with me the rest of my life. I think I used my courage in going away from home for the first time with people I didn't know at all. I certainly used perseverance to keep on paddling. When we got out in the middle of that lake and we had to come back. And cooperation was certainly one that we've got to practice a lot, living with other people for a long period of time. I really developed my reverence, too, in the beauty of nature, I think, and also in Scouts at home, the opportunity to really be reverent and quiet and honor each other's spirit and my own, and certainly unity, with sitting around the campfire with all the different campers and the adults there, singing and just being part of a big group. And so, those are all things that help build my confidence, which Girl Scouts does, courage and confidence. So that was in my first set of memories, and I think those memories have really carried me through my lifetime and really brought me to the person I am today. So I'd like for you to reflect on what was in your suitcase from your younger years. Where did you learn skills that have been helpful in your life? What virtues did you develop or strengthen? And how has your childhood experience been an important part of your life journey? These are all questions that you'll be able to explore today as we go into the workshops. The second journey I'd like to tell you about what happened about 15 years ago. And that's when I was not 15, of course. I was asked to go along to Europe with my 25-year-old daughter. She was 25 at the time. And I had gone to Europe when I was 25, but my daughter had never been to Europe yet. And I was so thrilled that she invited me to go with her. As any of you who were mothers or aunts could or uncles or dads could appreciate. Wow, my daughter asked me to go to Europe with her. That's really cool. So I was pretty excited about it. I had been to Europe because I had gone, when I was 25 to get a teaching job. And I think I used a lot of courage to go off on my own without a job and sold everything I owned, which I think was about a car at that time. And off I went, but I was prepared. I had my orderliness in place. I took my resume and I had a suit at that time. A suit in a suitcase seems kind of silly now, but at that time I was ready to knock on doors and get a job. And I did get a job. I got a job teaching at the American High School in Mannheim, Germany, which was really a wonderful experience, and I got to travel all over Europe. So here I am with my daughter, okay? So we were going to she wanted to go to France and Italy, and so we did some research. We went to Rick Steves. How many of you know who Rick Steves is? So we went to Rick Steves' place up in Edmonds, and we did, we got the videos, we watched the videos, we talked to people, we got maps and guidebooks and recommendations and all that. And Rick Steves used to, I'm not sure if he still does, recommend that you take a backpack. Yeah, well, here's my story about my backpack. Natasha, would you hold up my backpack? So you can see Natasha's in pretty good shape, and it's a big backpack. This is what I did. I wasn't prepared. My daughter got the right kind of backpack. I said, I'll be okay, I'll wait. And so I borrowed a backpack from someone I didn't even know. A friend of a friend had a backpack, and it was about like that. It was huge, and I filled it. I stuffed it to the ground with stuff. including a pair of shoes. Now these were representative of the shoes I bought the day before we left. You know what that's like, right? They were sensible European walking shoes, right? Well, the first day we were in Paris, I wore those shoes, and they were very heavy. They weren't broken in at all. I tripped. I fell on my face in a puddle right in front of the Eiffel Tower. True story. Scraped up my knees, pulled a muscle in my leg, and I had this humongous backpack that I had to carry that had way too much stuff in it. So, of course, my daughter Sarah got to carry my backpack along with hers. Up and down subway stairs, up into the 3rd story pension rooms that we were staying in to save money. Thanks, Rick Steves, for those great recommendations. Anyway, some of the challenges that I had, as you can tell, whoops, don't even hold still here, were that I did not have realistic expectations, okay, for this trip. I was hoping to be 25 again, but I wasn't. And my daughter knew it right away. She was not happy with me, and I wasn't happy with her, because she wanted to do these 2 countries at breakneck speed, you know, going as fast as we could to see every single site available. And I just was exhausted. I wanted to go home, actually. I called my husband, who was coming later to meet us, and I said, get a suitcase on wheels, please, and bring my sneakers. So anyway, orderliness was not in place. I was not prepared for that trip. Discernment, I was not, which I spelled wrong there, sorry, but I was not very discerning about what I needed at that time for myself. You know, I was really trying to please her and myself. I wanted to do this, but it wasn't a good idea to do it that way. I wasn't true to myself. Now, along the way, though, there was love and there was joy, and there was a lot of humor, especially looking back. So the lessons I learned were, don't travel with younger people who are in better shape than you. Don't travel with people who have different expectations than you. Don't pack too much. Be discerning and minimal. Take only what you'll really need. Make your expectations realistic. And plan ahead. Make orderliness your friend. I could go on and on, but I think you get the picture. So this is where discernment comes in. And discernment is going to be one of the virtues we look at today. Questions needed to be asked, such as, what is best for me now? What have I learned from my life experiences? Those are ones that we can look at now. What do I need to let go of? And how can I simplify? I think these are all questions that can be useful. So now, I'm 15, it's 15 years later, and I'm 15 years older, and hopefully a little wiser. So here's my suitcase for now. It's one I can actually pick up. It has wheels. It's small. And I only put a few things that are really important to me in there. And those are a comfortable pair of shoes that are broken in. I didn't want to wear, white sneakers because I didn't want to look like a tourist. Do you think I looked like a tourist on that last trip? Yeah. I got my black pants. Black pants and black are always good, like 2 outfits, And I got a guide map, and so I know where I'm going. And I got a small bag of toiletries. So that's it. I'm traveling light. So
Wait a minute. Yep, sorry.
that's
Come on, Anna. Come on, Anna.
So, one of the best virtues for me right now is moderation. Okay? How can I really be moderate in what I'm doing? How can I look at all the aspects of where I am in my life now and use discernment to really figure out the best thing? Be truthful with myself, and then be assertive to say what I need and what I can and cannot do. To use self-care, because I think those virtues are, along with many others, but these are really crucial ones for me right now to bring joy and peace into my life, and then so I can live from a place of gratitude. So I'm hoping that you have been able to relate to some of these things and look at your own strengths and virtues. Orderliness is still a challenge for me, and I still need to take things out of the suitcase and stuff using that as a metaphor for my life, other things that I try to pack into full too. Sometimes that means saying no to things, you know, even if I want to do them. Like if I have tickets for a concert or a baseball game and I'm really tired, I might have to say, no, I can't go, and give up the tickets. If my mother, who wants me to visit her quite often, says I'm really lonely, and it tugs at my heartstrings and I'm exhausted, I have to say no sometimes. And then I want to say yes to things that make my heart sing, because that's what it's all about. I think that really reflects on what Pat said earlier about finding what brings you joy, what you want to do at this point in your life, and it certainly goes with our theme of looking at your journey. So today, it's your day, and we invite you to look at your strengths and your challenges, and to think about your roles in life, and also as a Girl Scout volunteer, to see if you want to stay with what you're doing or if you want to make some changes, to see what the strengths and challenges might be for you. So it's your day and it's your journey. So thank you for this time.